It's just a long lost look in your eyes, brings out a love that I can't disguise. So take me down to the places I've never seen. Or don't you try to kill me with kind. It's just your love that's driving me wild. Oh, from the dawn we rise, with the heart we cry, into the light we go, into the light we go. From the darkest night, from the fire inside, into the light we go, into the light we go, into the light we go. It's just a long lost look in your eyes, brings out a love that I can't disguise. Oh, from the dawn we rise, with the heart we cry, to the light we go.
Welcome back, guys. We had just a short break there, 20 minutes, and now we're getting into our final match of LCK Spring 2018. I'm Valdez. With me is Papa Smithy, as always. We got KT Rolster versus Afreeca Freecs, the possible playoff match we'll have later on.
This could easily be our semi-final, but both teams know that, so what does it mean? Because the time to hide strategies, the time to show new picks that make the other team wonder is now. So this is time for the next level. Let's see what sort of crazy stuff we have in store.
Certainly would not like to show too much if you're either one of these teams. I would expect KT to defeat either one of SKT or KSV. Sure, there are upsets that could happen. Funny to call them upsets at this point, but KT Rolster has proven they're in the top 3, whereas some of our other teams have not. And Afreeca up there in the number 2 spot, looking really good. One of the only teams that can really go up against Kingzone so far.
Both of the momentum teams, but KT definitely all about riding that roller coaster.
Let's introduce our teams first off.
오늘 만났는데요. LCK 정규 시즌 시작과 끝을 함께 하게 된 그들. 먼저 이젠 순위 싸움이 아닌 자존심의 대결입니다. 숨겨왔던 새로운 전략과 함께 오늘 화끈한 복수를 시작합니다. KT Rolster!
KT Rolster coming on in here with the lineup you always know and love. Wait, who's that in the booth, Papa? Who is that guy?
That's not score, but guys, you know the score if you looked on Twitter. Rush is playing today. The kind boy is finally here, and they are going full rookie status when it comes to KT players. They're going to have Yukal, only about 10 games to his name, and a competitive debut for Rush on KT Rolster. You guys have waited. The promised land is here. Rush is playing.
It's finally happened. It only took all the way until the last day of LCK 2018. But who knows? He gets his debut. He gets his chance in the LCK. Everybody talks about if he came into the LCK, he'd pop off more than score. All those Rush fans out there. What if he actually does and makes a lasting imprint that leaves questions to be answered going into the playoffs?
Then you get interesting headaches of if Rush shows great form, does he start in the quarterfinals? Does he come off the bench? Does he actually take an active part in what could be a very extended and exciting playoffs race for KT Rolster? The talent on this team is undeniable. They for sure could go all the way. But when it matters, they have sometimes fallen away. Fans very happy to see Rush, and we're focusing on Smeb. This should be a hype one.
Yep, Smeb praying to the LCK gods rather saying thank you for his new jungler. We're going to introduce our second team of the night first.
제대로 증명합니다. Afreeca Freecs.
The Afreeca Freecs coming in here. I mentioned it before. Definitely the number 2 team behind Kingzone, looking so strong and playing new picks. We had aiming earlier on. Kramer comes back after some drama. Mowgli coming in. Spirit also looking good. The 2 junglers looking fantastic. Kuro and Tucson, some of the biggest MVPs we have. And Keen, another younger guy, really transforming and playing really well in the top lane.
There is an outside chance that one of Kuro and Tucson can tie with BDD. A double MVP for either would tie with regular season MVP, confirmed to at least be a 50% share for BDD. If Kuro gets the double MVP, we would have the same double MVPs to end the season on season. It was Kuro and BDD in LCK Summer 2017. Kuro's smiling, maybe he has a new pick for us. This should be a really fun best of 3. We've got a new jungler playing. We have the hiding of strats that's inevitable in a best of 3 that means nothing. It does not mean anything for standings. It cannot impact anything other than the confidence levels of KT Rolster and Afreeca Freecs.
It's going to be a fun one, as you mentioned. We'll see if random troll picks come out. Rush comes in, plays Xinjiao or something like that. You never know. You really never know in a situation like this. Even Mowgli's got a smile on. Usually a more calculated younger jungler. Everybody having fun in the studio, and the games haven't even started yet, Papa.
I'm ready to get into the information. I'm ready to get into the game as we look over the key points between KT Rolster and Afreeca Freecs. Hello, KT. You've been on the down recently, and we're talking about how you're performing against the best teams and the lower place teams. And, well, when it comes to lower place teams, no problems. When it comes to the better teams, KT Rolster, more often than not, have been losing.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense, right? They are the upper-ranked teams for a reason, but when it becomes a pattern, and you're one of the upper-ranked teams yourself, that's when it becomes a problem, right? You get 3rd place, but you go into playoffs and you can't beat any of these other top teams consistently. What if you get there and you just lose? Well, KT, they get 3rd. We'll have to see if they can actually push above that as we enter the postseason.
And being a KT fan is suffering, Valdez. That's the reality of KT in League of Legends. They have very rarely delivered. The global fans also have been suffering, waiting for Rush to play. Looking at the Afreeca Freecs, it's focusing again on win rates here. And honestly, there's not a lot to pick between these 2 teams. I think you look at Afreeca's general form and you say, this team, on their day, has been consistent. They've been able to be very reliable in picking up wins. They haven't played a lot of 3-game series, and of course, they were the team that the best in the world at the best of 1. The first game of the series, then would always fall away in the second. They've been much more consistent. You guys want to know about this man? It's Rush. He will be playing his first ever game in Korea on any roster. Actually made his debut on LMQ over in China. Followed them to North America. Impulse, C9, you guys know the rest. He's been out of the competitive realm since July of 2016. His streaming has got him so many global fans. It's this weird duality where English fans, new fans to KT because Rush went there, are so excited to see him play. Whereas, of course, the Korean fans and also some of the more longtime KT fans have been on the journey with Score for so long that there's conflicted feelings about Rush starting today.
He looks so mean for such a kind boy. We'll see if that changes as the games go on. We're going to take a look at the mid lane. Ambitious UCal, I should say, not Ambition here, versus Kuro, with a lot of experience in the LCK, of course. Only 10 games for UCal. That's insane. Also playing well enough to kick Pawn out of the starting lineup with a 5-0 Azir record and looking good on other picks as well.
Should be honest, there is a lot of word that Pawn is suffering for some injury-related things. Of course, his back has been a big factor for him out of the game for a long time. But is it UCal's form? Is it a trade-off? We don't know. We can only speculate. And now we have 2 great supports. I would say number 1 and number 2 in terms of their performances so far in the LCK in spring. I put Tucson at number 1. He's been such a big playmaker. But every time Mata jumps on Thresh, my heart skips a beat, and I get excited about the incoming domination. He's really good.
Big mistake, Papa. But yeah, I mean, Tucson, there's a reason why he is making a case to get close to being one of the biggest supports in terms of the MVP level, ahead of everyone else on the support level, of course, in terms of the MVP points. So we'll see if Mata can challenge him in the bottom lane. I'm sure will be a very fun bottom lane to watch. Defton Mata, of course, that duo versus Kramer Tucson. And Yukal, you return to him once again. You mentioned, you know, it might be injuries, it might be something else, but certainly he's made the most of his debut in the LCK.
Especially when he can jump on that Azir, it's been a big pick for him.
Certainly has. So guys, we're ready to jump into pick and ban. Let's do it. Here we go. Quick ban onto the Xayah. Everybody wants to pick up the Xayah with or without Rakan nowadays. And another 80 carry ban with Varus as the follow-up.
A bot lane focus already, and KT Rolster, to me, when they're in their best form, is playing through Defton Mata having lane priority. So I mentioned the Thresh already as a pick I love to see from Mata. I think it fits their identity. Just rotating through the bot lane and closing the game in the mid game is where KT are strongest. Rush is in the lineup, Yukal is in the lineup. It is a very far departure from the lineup that started the season and the lineup that dominated in 2017. So how they put together these parts is still to be determined. Will Rush be on his classic champion pool, or the picks that actually propelled him to the top of solo queue? They're probably one of the big reasons that he's playing today is the fact that he is #1 rank in Challenger. Camille has dominated his champion pool and be a very big flex pick with Smeb as well. So Camille priority seems very likely for KT.
We'll see how much they prioritize that there. A couple of Chinese fans coming in there. That's a good alpaca.
Yeah.
See, that's a Q1. It's well drawn. We've seen some really bad ones here at LCK. They're doing it right.
And look, Rush has been rehabilitated. He spent enough of time in Korean solo queue. He's going to play a tank. He's not going to be on a big carry here. Fans around the world saying he could only play Lee Sin and Nidalee. Yeah. Apparently he's got Sejuani in his wheelhouse. We will be able to see that on the big stage.
He's a kind boy. He doesn't want to show up Mowgli in his first time out, right? So he's going to give him a chance. He'll play the Sejuani first up against Zac. Keep everything just cool, calm, and collected. Let his teammates do the carrying. We got Zac as the follow-up.
Big pick for Mowgli. 3-0 on the season, and Mowgli has gone from being not used to starting a lot of series and allowing Spirit to play the blank to Mowgli's Peanut and actually sit in the back, watch the pathing, and adapt to the enemy jungler's tendencies. However, Score is doing the same. Think about how many games of competitive experience are sitting on the bench between Spirit and Score, two of the most experienced junglers in the history of League of Legends.
It's out of control. I mean, part of it definitely could be that this match doesn't mean anything. If this meant the difference between side selection, then they'd be playing their hearts out. They want to get their best side, all that good stuff. But it's literally just for fun. You mentioned that the Camille coming in here. It gets locked in, probably for Smeb in the top lane.
When we see a Sejuani, I don't think the support Sejuani is coming out this game, so almost certainly will be the jungle Sejuani. And the Rai is going to come through as a potential answer to the Sion. Now, Sion is a flex pick. Afreeca have played the most top lane Sion of any team. They actually have played 8 games of Sion already. 5 and 3 is Keen, so while Kuro is a legacy and the first person to play mid lane Sion after the rework in 2015 spring, still pretty unlikely until now we get the confirmation. We're battling, and for once it's not Smeb on the Fiora, it's going to be Keen on the Fiora.
Fiora versus Camille, a matchup as old as, well,
last game.
Yeah. He's an Afreeca fan, and that other guy is a KT fan, also white team.
Well, there's not enough bloodshed on the Rift just yet to turn that friendship upside down. We are going to see Fiora versus Camille in the top lane as the hijinks are really rolling from the side of KT. And we mentioned it already, because it's not worth anything in terms of side selection, in terms of final positions, now's the time you say, wait, I'm Keen, I play carries, totally play carries, I'm not on Sion every game. Keen has been a tank all season. He has played only a handful of carries, so I like them basically saying, yep, I'm going to go back to carry duty and play for the mind games, because we could have a best of 5 between Afreeca and KT Rolster in only 2 weeks' time.
Hey, you never know what's going to stick in a best of 3. They have that in the back of their mind that Keen can play a sick Fiora. They might consider banning it, and that's every ban is so valuable, especially when you get to the playoffs. You never want to make a mistake. So we're getting through the second ban phase here.
See a Kog'Maw ban, which is pretty interesting. When you see Fiora, it does to some degree dissuade a hyper carry, but when you see mid lane Sion and a Zac, you do think hyper carry. So it's very interesting to see what Kramer decides in this particular game to go upon. His most played this season has been the Ezreal, and you could go for Ezreal in this comp and be pretty happy about it. The timings will be specific to a degree just because Fiora isn't Gangplank when it comes to having a late game team fight impact, but they're going for a strong top lane and also an Ezreal 2-item power spike. They are playing around their relative lack of magic damage. Only going to be the incidental stuff from the Sion and the Zac. Remember, this is available in Korea on 8.5.
Yeah. Well,
why not now?
Are you going to bring it out and show it in an exhibition match? If they have plans to bring it out in the playoffs, I think you should save it.
But everyone knows that on 8.6, if it is 8.6 for the playoffs, Kai'Sa's really good. On 8.5, it's an unexplored champion that is on a much lower power level. Wait to see if Deft gets prematurely excited, a KT Rolster favorite, or goes for something more standard. It could definitely just be a utility AD carry in this game. Not the Jhin, though. Would have damage concerns with that one. And maybe they're going to look to Rock's Tigers, which I don't know if you want to do when it comes to the Kalista. They're bringing back Kalista and trying to find a win on Kalista to try to get the mind games going to playoffs.
It's all about the mind games tonight, guys. And certainly both teams are bringing it in so far. What is going to be the last pick in the support role? I suppose maybe the Sion could go there, but it is going to be the Alistair picked up for Tushin. They're not going to get too crazy with this win.
And you want Engage to supplement the fact that you're not going for a 5-man Death Ball 2-item comp. You're going for a Fiora comp with an Ezreal. So Afreeca have just the most Engage on Zac, on Sion, and on Alistair. And trying to play around 4v4 power if they can get Keen ahead. There's also going to be some emergency plans if that doesn't happen, but that is the general game plan. KT have a very flexible comp. The only real way to send it behind is if Smeb falls dangerously far behind on the Camille, but they can team fight, and they will definitely want to team fight early because guess what? Kalista, you're going to play her very, very strong with 2 items, weaker after that part than any other point. She was overall nerfed, her range is gone, the siege from KT is not viable. The 1-3-1 is possible.
Certainly is. I know everybody, all the fans out there, they see Rush and that's all they care about. But we do have a game here. And certainly, in terms of mind games, we were talking about the picks, but the biggest mind game seems to be what can Rush do? He gets rank 1 on the challenger ladder, but can he come in his LCK debut and actually put something into the minds of Afreeca that says, actually, this guy can play. He's really good. We might use him for a best of 5. And if he's got a different champion pool than his counterparts score, that's just another benefit for KT.
And today is all about the spoilers. You're basically on Reddit for your favorite show, and you're trying to work out, is it a spoiler or are they lying? Are they making this up, or is this what they're really going to do?
Yeah.
The what-ifs are real between KT and Afreeca for a future best of 5 between these two teams.
They certainly are. So, guys, the countdown has started. Let's jump into game number 1, KT versus Afreeca. Well, the Spo TV production staff, they know what's up. They're already focusing in on Rush, on the Sejuani. He's not doing anything just yet, but we'll see what he can do later on in the game.
This represents something so big for Rush because obviously we've memed about his absence so far in the season, but he gave up a lot to play in the LCK, abandoned his career over in North America, abandoned his stream. He could have been independently wealthy just from streaming. Has a massive fan base. People still follow him to this day. We get plenty of emotes from his Twitch channel over on the LCK channel, but he gave it all up for this dream of playing in Korea. It is his first ever professional game at any level in Korea, so even if it's only the final series, even though it is just a match that does not have any ramification on the postseason, it does have a big ramification on the player, so it'll be very exciting to see how Rush does in his big debut.
You mentioned that he hasn't debuted in Korea, but he's been around for a while. He's been hopping around different teams, different regions. He knows what he's doing. I'm sure he can deal with the pressure, but this is another level. The expectation from all the fans as he comes over to Korea. Can he actually roll with the big boys here in Korea?
It's the first time I can ever imagine of a debut into Korea, which was more anticipated by the global fans than it was by the Korean fans, because he's a bit of a mystery to them. They don't necessarily watch so much of North America, and it was years ago now. So a lot of those plays lost to time in many ways. So it's a really big thing for the global fans. It's awesome to see him play in. It'd be awesome if he becomes a weapon for them to use situationally. Or hell, he could be a starter if he can pull off a big performance here.
Yep. Certainly we'll be talking about him a lot as the game does go on, judging him with a fine-tooth comb, saying, okay, he did this well, that not so well. See just where his power level is at. But we do have, you know, other players on the Rift as well. So far,
you can do it, Rush. You can do it.
He's killed the ground.
He's got a... Oh, the smite was there. First objective, passed.
Yeah, good job clearing out the jungle. So far, he hasn't been executed to any of the camps.
Hey, we're not 100% sure if you jungle in NA, whether that's a given over in Korea. So, good stuff. All right. Good start here.
Certainly is. Can't expect too much from him. But we'll see. We also had Smeb having some fun up in the top lane, seemingly hitting level 2 first. Keen actually taking a bit of damage, losing some. But he's got Biscuit here. I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine. He's doing the Kleptomancy Fiora thing. Kind of standard here. And Mowgli looking for an early gank in the bottom side.
They noticed double Relic Shield on KT's bot lane. Going for the gold generation means they don't have battle stats.
Oh boy, that engage from Tushin too, and he's locked down forever. First blood, gonna go over to Mowgli. Fantastically done from Tushin and Mowgli.
And we don't see enough of this. If you see double Relic Shield, which is something that Def likes to do, get the gold generation going on Mata. They don't have any AD. Start fighting them. And I love to see the aggression. Tushin uses all of his mana, presses all his buttons. He'll be for now. Just going for the shove, but I like to see the aggression onto Deft. Does go down for first blood.
We talked about things that matter in this series and things that don't matter in this series. Well, the MVP race is certainly one thing that matters. And it would be really funny if Tushin is in the chat saying, come down to my lane, gank for me. I want to make the plays. I want to be the first support to actually get to the top of the MVP ladder. And so far, he's had one good play.
Yeah, we went into the Afreeca dressing room after their series a couple of days ago, and I went to Tushin and said, don't let Kuro take it. Pick up the first MVP for the support. Be the next Mad Life. It's the last real big MVP support we had. Crowned was Mad Life way back when. Comes to Korean play. But difficult to do. He can get a share. Remember, double MVP for Kuro or Tushin would be a share of the season MVP with BDD.
Gonna try to bait out the hook shot. Yukal coming from the mid lane, as well as Rush coming in. This is gonna turn into a 2-on-3. Nice flash out of Smeb, just trying to survive. The TP coming in, but it's late. Keen gonna go down to Yukal here. Gonna complete that TP is Kuro, but in comes Rush. Once again, making it a 3-on-2. Smeb getting low, gets hit by the shield. Gonna get the nice slow here onto Kuro, and now the Zac is lined up, but not taking enough damage as Yukal also getting low on the cooldowns. Now just trying to back off. Although Kuro taking a little bit of extra damage. Not willing to let this one go.
More people coming.
Keen coming in. Respawns, has his own TP. Rush, unfortunately, gonna be knocked up here, and down he goes. As not the best feeling for our member who did just debut.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's got a nice CS number, but he just stays too far up. Doesn't read the teleport coming back in. Someone has to pay for the sins, and it's going to be Rush. Smeb opened that play with another fantastic delay on the hook shot. We saw this in his 1v1 against Untara when he read him like a book. They were able to do that here, but they got greedy. They could have pulled back. It seems like they were trained upon getting the full push in. Smeb was saying, guys, I really want to push it into the turret to make this happen. I just love the play here from Smeb. Holds onto the hook shot, flashes away from Mowgli. Really nicely done by KT. But because Rush is the first one to rotate, they think they can get more, and they end up getting baited.
Baited for quite a while here, too. I mean, you had so much time. Okay, you get the flash out of Zac, Kuro. He has to back off.
Because you see the objective change that maybe we can kill Mowgli. Okay, we can't get the passive. We need to push in the minions. That needs to be our next goal. They keep having proactive goals that when they settle upon pushing the minions, they're way out of position for the recall coming through from Keen. Mowgli starts his passive so he can jump up. So KT's decision-making takes a nosedive at the end, and Afreeca does punish.
Yeah. The mechanical mistake there from Rush is he should have flashed first if he was already in danger. Flash and then Arctic Assault to make sure it doesn't get interrupted by the Zac. But thought he could get away. Was not the case after all.
It's weird, but it does, because it's been such a long tease for Rush coming into the game, it does feel a bit like we're recording first steps. We're like, what about his first ultimate in the LCK? What's that going to be like?
Yeah.
Is it going to be an Xmithy? Is it going to be an amazing ultimate? Who knows? But that is just the kind of weird and wonderful position we're in with having Rush back in the LCK.
It's nice to be excited about a player like this. It's funny that he's on KT as well. It makes sense that we do get excited. Here's his first ultimate. It's going to hit the Alistair. Oh, my Lord.
Picture perfect stuff. They should get Tucson from this.
The Ren comes in, and Rush picks up the kill. Unbelievable. Nice dodge here from Smeb. He is just styling all over Afreeca, making it look easy. The entire crowd goes nuts.
And they want more.
Going in for Kramer here. He's in a lot of trouble. No arcade, or rather shift there. He gets bopped down in the bottom side as well.
You're speechless because we have so much cool action on the Rift. The ultimate hits. Smeb gets the casual outplay. KT Rolster wowing the crowd, getting them believing again. Play us around. Time to believe in KT Rolster. Well, Mowgli, he's on blue buff stealing duty, but KT gonna get first tower of the game super early.
Rush stays around. He's gonna take some of that gold. Just gonna go back, and Smeb, he's like, I dare you to come in here. I'll just style all over you once again. Everybody loves to talk about Khan and how he's the new flashy guy, but Smeb has, in the back, just been so consistent every single day, and he does it again today.
But the other thing is, you say he's the new flashy guy. It's more succinct than that. He's the new Smeb, because Smeb was the big guy in 2016 with a double season MVP that got people believing in the top lane carry. And Khan is supposed to be the next Smeb, but Smeb's still pretty damn good. As we watch the play, gets the ultimate. He was either going to hit Kramer or Tucson, so they go for Tucson, they get him. No problem, they can chase it down. You have to also roll back and remember, as we watch the replay here of what happened topside, ultimate to dodge the Let's Bounce. That was sick. Into the dodge, beautifully done. And then in the bot lane, remember, what's the only reason to pick Kalista? I sat there and I talked to Gorilla and said, why are Rockstars still picking Kalista? They're like, they believe it empowers the support. And that was always the thing. It makes your melee support a god. And guess what? Marta's pretty damn good. They have the aggressive mindset. They go for the dive. Well executed by KT.
It's fun to watch KT when they throw caution to the wind and they're not playing carefully. When they're not playing up against King Zone and playing passive, saying, oh, I'm not so sure. It's just, you know, they throw caution to the wind. They're saying, okay, it's an exhibition match. We got Russian. Let's have some fun. And so far, they look really flashy and really fun to watch and cast. So happy with the way things have gone for our 90th and final match of LCK.
It's the sort of game where Marta might pick up the MVP, because remember, it's double Relic Shield to help his income, and also the Kalista, which largely is around increasing the power of the support. So far, so good for Marta, who had an amazing performance, you'll remember, in the Telecom War, I believe it was, on the Braum, was able to disengage so much damage. Deft has already taken the turret, working towards Bay the Ruin King. It's not a Hurricane first to push in. 3 control wards on the bottom side of the map. He's trying to make KT as predictable as possible. Want to stop a lane gank as Rush has set up his tent bot side. He died top lane, so staying away from there.
Now he's scared of Keen, says, no, no thank you. I would not like to gank you.
That rhymed.
Yeah, it did.
Nice. Have you thought about a backup career if LCK
things.
caster falls away? Is going to be Rap? You're going to be...
Hey, there are a lot of casters in the League of Legends casting sphere that are pretty good at rapping.
It's true, now that you mention it.
I wouldn't consider myself as one of the more famous rappers of the casters.
Being a rap god situationally is a good thing as a play-by-play caster, I'm told.
Certainly can talk to Dracos for that one. The most famous, I'd say.
It's true. Maybe ask him to wash his mouth with soap a little bit before he continues on, though. He says naughty words sometimes.
Sometimes you get excited. I mean, we've seen it from time to time in all regions of League of Legends.
I haven't heard KT swear. I haven't heard Jinx swear. They get excited all the time.
Well, we'll see what happens if we can get some of these guys on the main stage, if they actually make it to Busan. I mean, so far they're beating Afreeca, so they're certainly making a case to have a chance to do it once again in a best-of-5. Certainly not an impossibility here.
Afreeca's comp is a lot about timings, but so is KT's, because if you think about it, the Sion Ezreal and just the nature of Kalista and how she falls off, pretty much equivalency when it comes to where the power is. Front-loaded power and 2 items between Kramer and Deft. Top lane, the skill matchup. KT have more team fighting options. So your first thought is to inch them ahead, but then you remember that Siege is really tricky for both these teams. So I think at the end of the day, you look at it and you're like, this could really be a team fight fiesta, which is going to be really fun to track as we go on. The gold lead is there with KT. Smeb and others have wowed the crowd already. We had this kind of bipartisan exhibition going on. I just want to see some more outplays. If we can make a YouTube highlight that's 10 minutes long from this game, I'm going to be happy.
It's certainly a possibility here. Would expect these guys to just go all in and say, you know, let's try to outplay our opponents. Let's try to get into their heads. Not just on a we're having fun level, but also a we want to outplay you and prove to you that we're better than you before we get to you in the playoffs.
Very soon, we're going to see Russia's first smite on a Drake or Baron. I know.
We've seen it many times, but in the LCK, it's a special thing.
I really want a scrapbook of screenshots of everything that he's managed to achieve in this game. The Rush fans are plentiful. They can make it happen.
You know, yeah. We have enough manpower to make that happen. Surely someone will do it. I tried to make his first ultimate as hype as possible.
Oh, Afreeca going to make this one easy. May not even have to smite this buff away. And he does have the secret extra smite coming through from the Rend.
Yeah, looks like he is not going to smite. Give that one over to Deft. We'll have to wait for his next smite. As Clouddrake, mentioned it before, some nice buffs in combat movement speed. It's really good.
Rush has never given away a Drake in the LCK. Things we couldn't say before today.
That's certainly one thing. He did give away the, what was it, the First Blood up in the top side. So there is that, but we'll try to push that out of our minds.
Glass is half full, Valdez. Don't forget.
All right. We'll see what else he can do. Smeb has been making a case for his Camille to be banned. We talked about how Camille is good for Rush, right? He plays a lot in solo queue, but also Smeb. He goes on to the Camille from time to time. He's 3-2 on it so far, but without plays like that, I think you're making a huge case to say ban Camille once it comes playoff time.
Again, it's a true flex. It's how Rush has done most of his climbing, is playing the Camille. Not sticking on the Nidalee and Lee Sin that he is famous for in the past. Maybe some Lee Sin on 8.6 with the extra buffs coming the way of him. And his clean Lee Sin is his biggest call to flame. But given how much of a flex pick it is, and as Smeb has been our best Camille, the mechanics from Smeb have been so clean on the Camille, I do think it looms. If we see Rush in a best of 5, that has a lot more stakes than this particular game, I think banning the Camille does enough double duty that you feel really good about it.
You always want to make as big of a case to ban out as many targeted picks, or force your opponent to ban out as many targeted picks as possible so that you can bring in the higher tier picks onto your side. So, making a case for that tonight. So far, we haven't seen any one-on-one plays in the top side. Generally, safe play from both Smeb and Keen. But now it looks like KT's going to get started on the Rift Herald here in front of the Vision. So let's see if Afreeca does want to challenge this. So far, it looks like the answer is no.
Oh, it's so hard. They're against Smite and Rend. Deft is invested in this play. If there was no AD carrier or no Callista in particular around it, you consider going for the steal. It was never going to happen, so Rift Herald goes the way of KT. Another 100% record for Rush.
Yeah, you know, his first Rift Herald in the LCK. Tag that one down for your notebook.
And
Rush
your scrapbook
fans.
as well.
Yeah.
Timestamp was around 15:39. I didn't get it. I'm sure someone else did. And look at this. Jungle proxy. This guy is around his lanes, not a farming jungler. This man has been backing up his team. That's a team player right there.
I swear like 2.5 minutes of that was sitting in the bottom lane waiting for that chance to go for the gank. Speaking of jungle proximity, here he is again, up in the top side. Smeb trying to bait in Keen after the hook shot comes down. And also we got a rotation from the bottom lane of KT coming up towards the top side. That is spotted. That will make Afreeca back off.
And the amusing thing is, you know, we're obviously having a bit of fun talking about Rush.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
The thing about Rush is he has really wanted to redefine his style. He does want to be seen as a team player. Selfish jungler in solo queue, of course, is how he first made his name, but he's happy to jump on the Sejuani first pick, watch the Camille go to Smeb. He's trying to play a team-focused game. He's spoken about it in interviews and publicly many times. This is the play style he's looking to promote. I'm not sure if 4 minutes of jungle proximity is the way to do that, but the mindset checks out.
It certainly does. He's got the Rift Herald for his team now. Let's see if he can make it work. Was thinking about the top lane, actually, in tandem with Deft and Mata, but didn't quite work it out as Afreeca read it well.
Hook shot aggressively for Smeb. That cooldown's down for 7 seconds. Afreeca don't have enough control topside to make anything happen. And obviously Mowgli and Tucson are only bringing CC and definitely no damage.
Yeah. They've only got the Fiora, and when you're up against this much CC on the side of KT as well, it's going to be basically 0 damage. Just playing as defensively as possible, trying to avoid a Rift Herald move. But now Rush is on a ward.
Yeah, positioned more aggressively, small chance the minions would have leashed towards him, but now at least he's aware of the Rift Herald and potentially looking to break this turret on top side. He sees the ward die, and the jig is up.
Certainly it is. He's going to have to look for a new lane to make his powers work.
Turns out there was a lot of counterplay to that lane gang. I mean, sometimes with Rush there's none, so we should talk about it.
Rush is having fun with the Rift Herald so far. He's gotten a couple of backs with that one. Just making his way on the Rift. He's had some nice parity with Mowgli so far. Just 1 extra death with the unfortunate death in the top side.
I'm so excited to see this matchup develop. I'm honestly okay if we play 4v4 and then we just have the locked camera on top side. Rush can come gank it a lot, that's fine, but yeah. I do want to see Smeb and Keen go for this alpha versus alpha carry matchup. Fiora, as we've mentioned a couple of times, is favored in terms of the standard mechanics, but Camille has the better keystone. Perhaps until the new keystone is rolled out. I'm not 100% up to date on Fiora on patch 8.6 yet.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one.
The Conqueror.
If you're in combat for 4 seconds, I think it's 20% true damage, a little bit extra.
But it doesn't amp the true damage, and so much of it damage is from the vitals that maybe it's not good. I'm not 100% researched on that. We'll look into that as we move to patch 8.6.
I've noticed a lot of carry top lanes taking it. Just general safety, just the 1v1, and if you're trying to carry in solo queue, as you do, that's one way to do it. Rush uses his first Rift Herald in the top side. We'll see how much damage it can get done.
It seems like it'll get a turret that's going to be 100%, unless...
Here's Mowgli running into the enemy team, and he is going to kidnap Rush in there, but he's got a stopwatch available.
Hurrah.
Tries to flash away, but down he will go. Very, very fast. The turret goes down, but now KT in a lot of trouble. Fantastic Realm War to get them out of dodge. Afreeca, they want a little bit more. Tushin looking for the engage. The flash on, and he gets 2 actually after all that. Vana gonna flash away, but down will go Death, and they're looking for even more. Keen, though, getting low, and another kill, a double kill to Yukal as they dive that turret. And, well, on the backside of it, they only get 1 turret, but now Afreeca's gonna be the one pushing.
Afreeca says tanks for the memories. They've got 2 items on the Ezreal. They're ready to go. They can tank the turret forever with their huge health bars. They're able to get the kills, they get the turret. This is where Afreeca is strongest. They're able to turn it on, and KT opt into it with the turret dive.
Fantastic re-engage from Tucson there. Was surprised he was able to get 2, but in the end, both Keen and Tucson got way too low. We're gonna take a look at the replay here.
Rush gets into melee range at the side of this. We'll watch the replay, and he ends up just sitting on it, trying to get auto attacks onto the turret as a melee champion, but they end up just sitting on the Let's Bounce, and then it's 2-item Ezreal. The Rise is late, and there's really not that much value coming through from the Realm Mob. Of course, a lot of interrupts, so they were worried about how many members could pile onto it. Tucson sees the flash headbutt pulverize, and like he has all season, he starts it up, and as long as Ezreal is not tanking turret, they've got so much damage on Kramer. 2 items, Muramana completed. They're able to clean up some kills.
It's a nice play to take out Deft against the wall there. Very, very quick on the reaction was Keen and Kramer. But after all, looking towards another Cloud Drake here would be fantastic for the engage of KT if they can pick this one up. They have the Rend once again. Mowgli just cannot come in here and challenge them because of the Rend and the Smite. That does go over to Rush, so his first official Drake take.
And Cloud Drake, first time we're seeing it, or at least I'm thinking about it with the Kalista, has a lot of synergy, because remember the Kalista's passive scales off movement speed and also off attack speed. So hopping mad for Death, double Cloud, for once no longer something we insult. It is something that is very powerful, so a lot of options here in and out of combat for KT.
We've got the push coming in here from Afreeca. They are down just one turret overall, 2-1 in favor of KT so far. So they're trying to even the score with a push in the mid lane.
Bit of a sinister laugh we were listening to as side lane returns. We should talk a bit about vision, because vision control when we have Fiora versus Camille on the side lane is very important. There's 5 control wards on the map from Afreeca, and only a handful from the side of KT. They're actually replacing their already 5 control wards. So KT have let their vision go down, and in general that's a big problem, but when you have Kalista Braum, you do have a lot of chance to face check and then all in or disengage situationally. Need to find a way to fight for map control. Right now, they don't control the top or the bot side of the map. Want to see KT shop, get some control wards, and actually work out where they're strong, because right now the vision line says nowhere in particular.
You notice that Yukal did take the minion dematerializer. Does work very well against the battered up minions that the Scion, his lane opponents, will be pushing into the lanes. Nothing new there. He's still got 1 left. So hasn't really been able to use them in a very crucial moment, but perhaps that last one will do the trick.
Testing vision in mid lane, trying to play through mid. Remember that KT does not have sieging options. They can look to rotate with the Realm Warp, but when they group up as 4, after the range nerf, Kalista's even worse at sieging than she was before, unless you're threatening a dive. And threatening a dive seems very risky with where Ezreal is at, so right now, it seems like KT are happy to push in waves, but they're pushing in waves to relative darkness, and they're only really passing farm over to the side of Afreeca.
Yeah, they're having fun with it so far. We'll see how that Camille versus Fiora matchup is going to go. In terms of skill, you definitely got to give it to Smeb, but the Fiora has been looking good when it gets farmed up enough, and so far this game has slowed down quite a bit. And it's pretty even in terms of the gold score, so Afreeca buying a lot of time for their Fiora to get online.
When you look at where the kills went. The kills went. Look at 3 kills onto the rise already. Yukal, another young player, which we mentioned, his 11th professional game, has the Void Staff already, so he's actually more teamfight ready and more able to answer Kuro in a side lane than most Rise players would be at 24 minutes into the game. However, those items don't help him with the Banner of Command. Only the final charge of the minion dematerializer is useful for that. So feels like he's on a bit of a timer when it comes to how often or how long he can stick in the top lane and actually impact the lane against Scion.
So far, he's just got some happy feet running around all the Scion's abilities. And we actually have Rush coming up here for a potential gank onto Kuro, but not really going to work as Kuro is under turret. Just trying to control that red side jungle, as we often see. Trying to get as much vision down as deep as possible before considering going for this Baron.
And that is their primary win condition. How do they win? Well, sieging doesn't work. Team fighting, you can't just team fight wherever. You have to force the enemy to react. Pushing up wards into the red side jungle, backing off Kalista, Ren, Secure. They have a lot of Baron damage and Secure, and they have great turn. The Braum over the wall with the Fate's Call, the Realm Warp, the Sejuani. Even Smeb can look for a flank. So flanking around Baron, play around Baron, is the gold standard for KT in this particular game. Getting that vision against a team that knows all about your playbook, that part's the hard part.
Well, we got a bit of a lull in this one. Not really much going on. It feels like we're just waiting for Drakes to spawn. As KT, of course, they're not going to do any 50-50 Barons. They do have the Kalista, which helps them in terms of taking risks if they do want to go for that kind of Baron, but not deciding it just yet. They also have the Rise, so certainly a very good, overall I'd say probably an A- in terms of a taking Baron team.
Kleptomancy Keen is ahead in items compared to Smeb, who's working on his second item. I imagine it will be the Titanic Hydra, but it could be a Sterix Gauge into Ravenous Hydra a little bit later. Usually Ravenous Hydra is rushed if it's going to be a second item. Now I realize every time I use the word rush, people are going to get triggered.
Yeah.
But it's going to be definitely a thought there, at least for Smeb. And this is the time, level 16, where we expect Fiora to really overtake this lane. So waiting to see how much the side lane ends up being pivotal. If Smeb does go bot side, he doesn't have any vision coverage. There's probably going to be more trading of farm.
Oftentimes when the game slows down like this, you'll see other members try to help out in the side lane and try to snowball that into victories elsewhere. Especially guys like Kuro, if they can come down with their TP.
Isn't it cool that we can actually see how many minions have been attributed to Mata? Because remember, it's double Relic Shield, and when your support has Relic Shield, the AD carry gets credit for the last hits. We know that Mata has gotten involved in 106 minion kills compared to the 53, so doubling, which is a very big extra bit of gold to the tune of 1,600 gold come 27 minutes.
Zeke's convergence for him, trying to power up Deft as much as possible on the Kalista.
And usually that item is a reactionary item for Braum, but this is a I'm flashing in and ulting. We got the full effect of the 5 seconds of damage amp choice, so this confirms that there's not going to be any peeling. We're going in.
5 members of KT coming in here, and Afreeca just having so much trouble dealing with this rend. There's just seemingly no way for them to challenge it, and they just all group up as 5. They don't get any other advantages on the map. And they give another Drake over to KT.
Do get position on mid lane. Turret is at 50% HP. Ult mostly to get the attack speed from the Rising Spell Force. Gonna get it. Or are they?
Okay, they're ulting on in. The turret does go down, but ulting a Scion with Stoneplate is not generally good. Nice disengage from Mata, though. Gonna throw it back in. Huge knockup on a 5 members there. As now Afreeca is on the disengage. Smith gets knocked
clean
out.
this up.
Look at that damage, though. Coming on in. Mowgli getting low, too. The Realm Warp with 5 members. Trying to get as many members on the back of it. Only Deucin goes down, but KT with the victory in that fight.
And they're gonna go straight to Baron, or at least fake it, because they do have the Ren secure. They brought up the minion wave, but not enough minions to actually taxi the minion wave and kill the turret. They're gonna back away through all of it. They see the bannered up minion and they realize they have to be accountable in the side lane. Really exciting fight, the sort of one where mid-game Kalista, after the changes, is still able to dominate. Tried to punish for the last hit onto the turret. They largely do end up, but it's such an even fight. Watching as the replay goes on, there's no full committal yet until we see the Fates call into the back line, a kidnap for safety. Deft has the chance in a long lane to chase everyone down. With flashes up, with escape summoners, he can't make anyone else pay, and it's only a single kill to the side of KT.
So much stuff burned, basically everything except Keen Summoners gets burned in this one. Rush still has his flash, as does Zukao, so KT will win the Summoner War, as well as getting an extra kill off of that. It was very interesting to see them play passively around the Baron afterwards. They're like, yeah, we got to deal with the wave. You know, we can go back, we can buy. Our Rise is getting out of control, almost is going to have the death cap. And once he gets that, 4-item Rise with Death Cap Void Staff amongst everything else, he is going to be a cannon in himself, just getting to work in that back line.
Well, getting to the back line will be a little bit tricky. Realm Warp gives you the option, but it could be a one-way trip because he's going mostly on damage, as you would expect for a Rise.
Yeah. Well, basically, whatever he touches is going to turn to sand.
You know, it's going to be Zac, so it might be Bloblets, and it's going to be Scion, and he does come back, so killing people, they'll be slightly dead, but not the most dead.
He also does have the Stoneplate, which makes it a lot harder. We saw that even though Kuro got heavily engaged upon in the last fights, we have a little bit of a trade here, not much doing, but a big rotation
a lot of friends
from KT.
coming.
That's really the big doing in this one.
But they're going to lose Baron if they fully commit to this. Let's see what the call is from KT.
Looks like it's only Mata coming on in here. Going to be a miss onto that one, but now Keen can't go anywhere. That's going to be an easy kill. Afreeca, they do not move to the Baron after all that, so just the kill awarded to KT.
They realized that because only 2 were sent, Rush and Deft were in the area, they couldn't make the play. Good to see the disengage there from KT, or the partial disengage, we should say. A good move, killing someone on the side lane and not giving up Baron is a tricky thing to do at 30 minutes, so well engineered by the side of KT. Something. Cloud Drake helping them out. Great analysis, I know.
Yeah. You got it. I mean, we're in the 90th match. You've done every single match, Papa. I think you deserve a small break after this one, perhaps.
Smab move pushes up, but he's going to get a lot of turret damage down with the Trinity Force. He did go Steric's Gauge for the 1v1 as well. Ooh.
Well, that's going to be a quick take onto that one, as Afreeca is totally focused onto the Baron here. Or at least about stopping the Baron. So another turret and more gold goes to KT, who's now 3,000 gold ahead, as well as 3 Drakes. Nice take there by Kramer. Going to steal the blue buff after all.
They even have vision of the area. I'm not 100% clear. There could have been spot vision. He just used his blue trinket, so maybe that was how he spotted it, but If it was blind, well done. If it wasn't blind, well done. As he's able to pick that up, he's at a very great item point, but so is Deft. Fun how Kalista and Ezreal are so overlapping in terms of when they're strong in the game right now. Waiting to see if this Zeke's convergence Kalista can run away with the game, as you see that Relic Shields have been very profitable, but I'm more interested in how much extra gold Mata has, as that has been the real story.
Certainly. Spo, will they show us Mata's gold? Perhaps not. Either way, 1,134 is a massive number when it comes to it. Of course, Tucson got his own on his side, so should be somewhere near equivalent.
I mean, look at the difference in items between Mata and Tucson. It's a completed Zeke's convergence and a completed Banner of Command into most of a Righteous Lore. It's actually very hard for a support to finish the Righteous Lore because it's so expensive, 950 gold. But the combined cost is hard to piece together when you're on backing into 3 control wards duty for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
So a fed Braum could definitely be one way they can push through.
You thought the Gulp 5 items were dead onto anything but supports, but you were wrong.
I mean, Deft said in the interview with Mata when they had a duo interview at OGN, it helps Mata get strong, and that's the reason why he does it. And Mata also said his job was to peel for Deft this season rather than being aggressive. So together, they've got a winning combination between the two.
Part of the reason why KT solidifies the 3rd place spot so far. It's really been Afreeca's fantastic season that denied them 2nd. And so we have another Drake spawn. Nobody wants to go for the Baron. KT is fine, just slowly ramping up and getting Drake by Drake.
And why is that? Why are they not doing more? Well, there's a lot of engage on the side of Afreeca. They have very shallow vision, so they're saying, we'll take the easy victory, and then we'll work it out. So they're happy to just put together Infernals. Afreeca respecting they're pretty far behind in this game. They have gone a bit team fighting on their Fiora. Aranduans is complete. Not often something you see. Aranduans to answer the Sterix does mean that we might see the team fighting attempt by Keen as the game goes on.
Certainly has that option. Had the Warden's Mail much earlier on and then eventually did finish it up as time did go on. He's got the Warhammer. We'll see what he builds next. But so far that bottom lane has been pretty uneventful. It has gone in the way of Smeb as he's been able to take 2 turrets down there. But the bottom tier 1 is still available. He just hasn't had enough pushing power to really get there.
Great vision line that Afreeca had earlier has been cleared, hasn't really been replaced, and they're in full defense mode. They're in, we will not let you get wards in our red side jungle mode. And that's why we see the brush camp towards the top side of mid lane. However, KT also don't siege very well, so we see this hyper exciting play of push in minion wave and then have minion wave cleared as the mid lane turret is up at 35 minutes. And honestly, Valdez, it's no closer to coming down.
Nearly full health. Was surprised that KT lost their tier 1, but Afreeca did some work there.
Can I interest you in 5v5, 6 items, final destination? Because that seems to be where we're going in this game.
We're getting closer. We're nearly there. 35 minutes at the pro level is very, very close. Consider around 35, 40 minutes to be that number.
I feel like with the bot lane out of turret up, just rotate up with Smeb, push in for the vision, and start the Baron. You got great Baron turn. Smeb will take a long time to lose anything meaningful, which would represent the inner turret, because if the outer turret goes down, you're like, well, that's a lot of time wasted. We're on the Baron. I feel like KT need to be forceful around the Baron, and we're finally seeing it from KT.
2-shot barrage comes out, and they decide, okay, double Infernal, it's going to be enough with Kalista. The ward comes down, but the Rend is going to be set through. It's going to have to be huge, and no, the Rend will pick it up. Mowgli now going to pick up 3, which is going to be very nice. Immediately, all of them get knocked up. Rush getting extremely low on the left side. Mowgli does take him out in the end, but look at the left side. Kuro gets taken out eventually, and the Baron buff in the bottom side. Smeb trying to go on to Keen here. Gonna get a look at this fight. Gonna Hextech ultimatum in, is gonna dodge the riposte, and the 1 hit down from half health. Smeb outplaying Keen, does win the fight.
Smeb is always the thinker on the Camille. He will never let Riposte stuff his day. He gets the solo kill. KT get the Baron. They made the aggressive call we were waiting for, and it pays off big.
Very, very nicely done. Very meticulous with everything they've done in this game. And Smeb, calm, cool, and collected, as he always is, talked about the duality of, yeah, Rush can play Camille, Smeb can play Camille, but at this point, Smeb can play Camille. Just go ahead and ban it already after saying that.
Hey man, I get excited every time I see that Smeb, and on the Camille in particular, but that's a KT no-no. I know, it's a faux pas. But KT are now massively ahead. The final destination happened a little bit early. They're going to siege with the Baron. The Baron minion is here.
Yep, there he is.
We're going to call this Baron minion Score. Score's going to die for his team's sins, isn't he?
Rush, he's playing a decent game. Question is, does Score come in real life in game number 2? I'm sure a lot of people would hope not. Made a little bit of a small appearance in that thing. He just got smited. Outsmited in the end was Score.
Again.
Yeah, again, down he goes. This time he gets smited himself.
Did you see how many health he was at? I think it was around 2.
It was a lot.
Well, KT now have the full snowball 6 items going on with Death. He's gone for the Guardian Angel for, we're probably going to turret dive you. The Zeke's Convergence damage amp is cool to see. Haven't seen that on the Kalista too often. But KT pushing the top side, going to be heavily delayed because Banner of Command is hilarious into Rise. Let's see if we see a really big commitment by KT. Afreeca Freecs largely were around the Ezreal. Now the Kalista's ready to go around the same time. Kalista into Ezreal, maybe it's a new thing. Breaking the base, still with this very poor siege comp, is going to take time.
They still got a minute on the Baron, but they're relatively safe once again with how they push in. I feel like we lied to you guys. We were like, hey, this is going to be a really stomperino game. Everybody's going to be going hardcore here, just trying to have fun with this one. But KT have been playing a very safe, calm and cool, collected game. Very slow. Oh, Kuro, what happened to your health? Sion mid, not looking good in this game so far.
6 item Rise, having some fun with Sion. Enough items roll in. The Bannon does the hard work. Pushing in, Kane.
Okay, this time he finally gets hit by the riposte. And oh, by the way, there's a fight over here. Rush is going to get kidnapped, but he's still alive. Nice ultimate and a 3-man knockup once again from Mana, hopping himself in there on the Fates call. They want more on the backside of it. Keen with the riposte. Looks like he will get out in the end, but KT sending a message here against Afreeca. They win a very clean game, and it was pretty one-sided after that. They want more kills. Smith having fun with this one, gonna ruin his KDA at the end of it all, but that will be the Nexus going over to KT Rolster as they eventually win game number 1.
Deft having his fun. They close the game. Very hard to work out what to make of game number 1. But the fans are happy to see a victory for KT Rolster. Rush is 1-0 in the LCK.
Undefeated.
He's undefeated. It was largely clean from KT. And the best thing for them is they can now ask Afreeca Freecs in a future best of 5, are we going to roll back the Kalista comp or are we not? When you win with these slightly off meta picks, the questions go only to the loser. They go to Afreeca. Afreeca on a big win streak. They are 7 match wins in a row. While it doesn't mean much, it does mean something, as neither of these teams will play for 2 and 3 weeks respectively after today.
Yep, we said it before, it's about making a statement, and KT certainly did tonight, looking extremely strong, very aggressive across the Rift. Smeb's Camille needs to be banned, as far as I'm concerned. You can't let this guy play Camille if you want to win.
Between Smeb and Mata for the MVP, I think Mata probably deserves it. He was outstanding on the Braum in this game, set up by Deft, and allowed him to look great. If you have a Kalista in this meta, you need your support to fly the big flag. It was flown by Mata. Sounds like we're going to be going to that break very soon, Valdez, with KT Rolster in front.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys in about 12 minutes for game number 2.
안녕하세요. LOL 신문십답의 박지선입니다. 오늘 신문십답의 주인공은 바로 LCK에서 유일하게 같은 팀 선수를 팬으로 두고 계신 쿠로 선수입니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
그리고 오늘의 제이스 선수는 바로 쿠로 선수의 팬인 푸신 선수입니다.
안녕하세요. 오늘의 제이스 투시입니다. 오늘 그냥 프로 형 그냥 머리 박살 내겠습니다. 제가.
Let's get it started. First, can you introduce yourself and your team?
My team is top 긴 정글 스프린 미드 쿠러 원딜 크레이머 서퍼 투신.
So when it comes to introducing yourself, we have to talk about your dimples. Can you dimples? Yeah,
캠퍼.
dimples on your cheek and chin.
에? 아 보조개.
Can you tell us about them too?
My tongue is 보조개. 아 영어로 뭐야? 영어로 뭐야?
Chin.
친 dimp.
Dimple.
dimp. Yeah. My mom is dimp is 물려받아서
It comes from your mother.
Yeah, come mother. Yeah.
So from the spring split, you're having 9 younger brothers in your team. What is that like?
영어를 어떻게 대답하지 이거? I'm number one.
Number 1.
Yeah.
You got the most power.
Yeah.
Mm.
My team is best me.
You're the best.
Yeah,
You're the
I'm
king?
best too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're the king.
Yeah, king.
I'm too.
Yeah, two.
You're the king and the queen.
Yeah, one, two. No queen. What the? What the? My soldier. My soldier.
Your servant.
Yeah.
And you also have a lot of players that love you, like Umti or Teddy, Tuzin. So what's your charming point?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. But I think little cute. I don't know why he's love me.
Why they love you? You don't know?
I don't know.
Then tell us, what kind of relations are you and Tuzin in?
Type? His type is 뭐야 말해줘.
우리가 콜라보 뭐가 우리의 공통점 뭐가 같냐고.
I think pig,
You guys are both pigs?
pig and pig, pig.
Bigger pigs?
Yeah, and 맞잖아.
뭐 맞게 할게.
맞잖아. So funny guys.
Funny guys?
Yeah.
원이 팀.
Yeah, funny pig.
Funny pigs.
Funny pig.
오케이, 오그리.
Well, I was actually asking about the type of relationship, 어떤 관계 between you guys, like fanboy and a player, something like that.
Yeah, I'm 일단 I'm brother and younger brother.
Oh, you guys are like brothers.
Yeah, and I'm king.
King
I'm-
and the queen.
Yeah, I know. What? I soldier. My soldier.
Soldier.
My soldier. I'm number one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Number 1, number 2.
yeah.
Okay. Afreeca Freecs is also known for serving great meals to the players.
What?
Afreeca Freecs, your house?
Yeah.
Food so delicious.
Okay. Oh,
Very famous.
delicious. Very
Right?
delicious.
Mm.
아줌마. 뭐라고 대답해야 돼 이거? 저희 밥 해주시는
하우스 케어?
house care mother. Oh, this
Cooks really well.
cook very good.
Very good.
Food.
Can you describe more about the menus, like how delicious they are?
Oh, I don't know English.
skip chance.
잠깐만요. 뭐라는 거야?
맛을 약간 표현해달라.
아.
어떻게 맛있는지.
어떻게 맛있는지
표정으로.
표현해달라. Very good. Very good.
And last time you posted a picture of your table with a lot of medicines on it. Yeah? Your desk with a lot of medicines.
Okay,
Mhm.
I know. Yeah.
So what are those for?
아, 남자한테 되게 좋은 거. 남자들한테 되게 필요한
스태미나.
영양소들. 네, 스태미나. 비타민. 눈 이거 뭐냐? 루테인.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say there are all Afreeca Freecs members drowning underwater, and you can only rescue 2 of them. Who would that be?
물에 빠지면 물에 빠졌어 우리가.
응.
두명 구할 수 있어.
응.
누구 구할 수 있어?
No.
I can swim.
No.
I can run.
I can't swim. I'm dog swim. I can dog swim. No.
Well, then if you can swim, who would that be?
No.
Oh, why nobody?
제가 수영을 해도 제가 죽을 것 같아요. 도와주러 가면.
Okay.
I can no die.
You don't
I
wanna
want to
die?
no die.
You don't want to
yeah.
die. You had the most MVP points in the last spring split.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make it happen this year again?
이번에도 가능하냐고.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you wanna make a promise for winning the first place?
Sorry. 확신이 없어요.
If you win, is there anything you wanna do as a pledge, or like you're gonna post something special on your Twitter?
I want 일단 게임 win.
Mm-hmm.
게임을 이기길 원하지 MVP를 받고 싶다는 그런 건 없습니다.
Okay. Last message for your fans.
Oh, I love you, fans. Thank you. Everybody, be care. Very thank you. Okay, good. Very good.
네, 여기까지가 아프리카 프릭스의 쿠로와 투진 선수였습니다. 다음에 또 만나요. 안녕.
일단 저는 영어를 되게 오래 안 했더니 공부를 좀 손에 놨더니 되게 바보 같다는 거를 오늘 많이 느꼈고 영어 공부 좀 해야겠어요. 네.
저는 몰랐는데 굉장히 재밌고요. 또 새로운 모습을 하나 또 알아서 또 저는 생각보다 영어를 또 하고 또 새로운 모습을 또 봤어요 서로. 오늘 제이스로서 조금 신나게 좀 너무 올라가지고 좀 신나게 팼는 것 같은데 다음에는 저도 이제 약간 영어를 할 수 있는 약간 저의 또 다른 모습을 또 보여주고 싶네요. 지금까지 아프리카 프릭스의 투신
구로였습니다.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.